What's going on, everyone? We're back. We are back. It's Coach D. Yeah, some of y'all may remember this song from my friend Jay McGowan. We brand new. I like to start off my sessions with this song. This is a powerful song. Powerful song. Powerful song. This is a new format we're going to be using. We're kind of moving away from Zoom. We're going to skip some time. And we're going to share some powerful information. As your time is passed, we're going to have guests who will be on. And we're going to share some information.
You know what the definition of insanity is, right? It's when you're doing the same old thing and expecting a different outcome. Nah, that's crazy. It isn't work that way. You see, growth requires constant change. You gotta be forward thinking and open to the idea of reinventing yourself.
We did a very good job of that, I
Now,
believe.
let me go
There's
ahead
a
and
lot of
warn you.
people that are
Everybody's not gonna like this new you. You might have to cut some people off temporarily, and you might have to cut some people off permanently. You know,
we're going to continue to do and so, as we listen to this jam by
you gotta do what you gotta do to his life. All brand new. Come on,
brand new, all brand new. Anybody that was a part of what we were doing over the last 6 months, and you're on the type in the chat feature, some of the formats that we have, you can't actually, it's a shame, you're trying to type in the chat feature, and it doesn't work. So, I don't know if you're in those formats. We're streaming to 3 different locations, and, so we're kind of like, don't know which one of these work or whatever, but, we're doing brand new legit. This is a brand new season. We're not going to look at all the negatives. We're going to look at all the stuff that's going on. The possibility. So I'm going to start doing this on Mondays again, And so what's beautiful about this is, unlike before, we are going to be recording these, and so you're going to get a chance to hold on to them. So how y'all doing out there? Yeah. Somebody said the music is overpowering me. I meant it to. Type your name in when you say, because what I see is Facebook user. All right. I wanted to start out with the music. So that's just, I always start stuff out with music. All right. And so you're going to hear that song quite a bit. But as you type in your information, your name, it's on my end, it says Facebook user. So what you want to do is you want to type your name in the chat area so that we could know who you are. So, but get ready. We got some good information I want to share with you today. I decided to go with this format because I want to, with a lot's going on right now. When we first started this, you had the COVID thing hitting, and so let me see, we got here. All right. Okay, Patricia. Okay, thank you, Patricia. Wait a minute. Why is this showing? Why is it showing up on there? Okay. So that's the way it is. So it shows you. Okay. Thank you, Patricia. I appreciate that. And so, we first started this back in March. And with the first time we went on live, we had, I guess, somewhere around 500 people. And then over time, it kind of trickled down. And then we had about 50 to 100 people that were coming on consistently. And I think through Facebook, it's going to probably be less until once we continue to do this, we'll get more. But the thing about it is, we're going to continue to do this. Again, it'll be recorded so that, but anyway, as you're coming on, tell us who you are, where you're from. We'd love to know, your location and, what organization you're with or who you are, so that we'll know, a little bit about the people that are participating in this. So it's kind of hard for me to see in this format with Zoom. We can see everyone, but this is going to be a little different. So tell us who you are and where you're from, who you work for, and get ready, because this is going to be every Monday at 10 a.m. activity. And if I'm not on, I'm going to get somebody else to get on. But we're going to do this every Monday because we're going back into this COVID thing. And the challenge is we're going into it full steam ahead now. Like when it started in March, it was brand new, and it was like, nobody knew what it was. And we didn't know how significant it was going to be. People were comparing it to the flu, and people started to realize it's not the flu. All right, this is something else. So now we've had, sadly, hundreds of thousands of people that have lost their lives and all this different thing. and it's been challenging, and a lot of sick people. And so, but those of us in workforce development, in the midst of all of this, still have to try to help people find jobs, try to get people to have some sense of security. So our job and our responsibility has not changed despite all of this, you know. And so, what I'm trying to do with this workforce development motivation show is to inspire people in the field to continue to press towards the mark despite the challenges that we face, because there's a whole lot of them that we face. All right. A whole lot of them, you know. So, but what I want to do today is, at my first time back after about a month or so, is I want to share some insights from my mentor. And I'm going to tell you something. This is worth hanging in to listen to, because my mentor was a gentleman that some of you may know. His name is Dr. Miles Monroe. And Dr. Monroe, many considered him to be like the father of purpose. And, you know, he was the one that came up with the pillars of purpose. Like, one of them is, where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. Okay. Where purpose is not known. Let me write that down, because it's powerful. Where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. And that's Dr. Miles Monroe. Monroe. And so he broke it down and got people to really thinking about, you know, if I don't know the purpose of my life, I can abuse it. Like, if I don't know the purpose of another person, I can abuse them. You know, like, you look at this thing of drugs. Drugs are actually really good for you. I mean, if you're sick and you take a drug can help you. You know what I mean? Like, be honest with you, this morning I had a real acidic stomach. I don't know why. It came out of nowhere. I took an antacid and I feel better. So let me tell you right now, drugs aren't bad. But if you don't know the purpose of a drug, you then abuse it. You abuse the drug. And so that's when it becomes the term drug abuse. Okay. And so he broke this stuff down. But then he also, one of the other pillars he said was powerful, is that purpose is the key to fulfillment. And so when we do a lot of our, a lot of our workshops on reinvention and rebranding that we do with job seekers throughout the country, many of you maybe that join this call have contracted us to do some of that work. We focus a lot about them finding careers that has a sense of meaning to them. Now, they have to start where they can, especially if you don't have the experience, if you don't have the education, you got to build up to that. But the reality is, for many people out there, they do have the experience, they do have the education, they may have lost their jobs and been laid off, but now it's like everything that's going haywire. We now to find a greater sense of purpose with our careers. And Dr. Monroe talks about that, you see. And so one of his, and I have several statements I want to share. And this is something for you personally, but then also for you to share with your clients. All right. To share with people that you work with in the workforce space. All right. Now, this is not something you share with your clients, but this is something we would embrace and understand. Again, from my mentor, Dr. Monroe, Miles Monroe, one of the statements that he made was this: the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but life without a purpose. That statement right there is how you end up interacting with Coach D. Because when I first heard that, I said, man, I don't want that to be my destiny. You know, I want to be able to use my life in such a way that it's based upon my purpose, and using my purpose to make mankind better, be it in workforce development or be it in education. We're doing a lot with equity and inclusion right now. You know, that's what I want to do. I want to wake up every morning with a sense of destiny, a sense of purpose, that I get to use my gifts that I was born with and I was educated with, because I have a bachelor's degree, you know, and all of that to be able to impact humanity, you see. And so, you know, one thing that Dr. Monroe always talks about is that, man, you know, people leave the planet, and he said that's a bad thing. He said, but it's even worse is if you leave if you're living and you don't have a sense of purpose. It's like we're just here. And so it's so important to realize that we all are born with these gifts, talents, and abilities. This is something I share again with job seekers. And the key is to find out what are my gifts, talents, and abilities. Now, I share a lot of information from Dr. Howard Gardner, at Harvard University, what he talked about the theory of multiple intelligences. And you may want to look this stuff up because it's powerful stuff. But in his theory of multiple intelligence, his premise is simply this: we were all born with an intelligence. All right. The key is to find out what is our intelligence and how do we take our intelligence and use it to impact society. You see, so he talks about linguistic intelligence, which I have. That's the ability to communicate, the ability to inspire, the ability to engage. We're just born with this. You know what I mean? Born with it. And some of us have found that and we're using it to impact society. Again, this is a video, so you may want to show it with your clients. When you're working with your clients, share this with them. It's free. It's online. Don't cost a dime. And so they got this multiple intelligence. Then he talks about a bodily kinesthetic intelligence. These are people that can move their bodies and dancing and choreography and all that kind of stuff and athletics. He talks about some people are born with that. Then some people are born with what he called logical mathematical intelligence. These are the people that are fully analytical. These are the folks that can't go to a movie without asking 25 questions about what movie they're going to go to, and because they're into analytics, they're into the data, they're into all these different things. And so, but that's a gift because you know what? In sports, you need analytics. In building buildings, you need people that can measure and, all these different things. In finance, you need people that are real. You need analytics in everything if you're going to succeed. And some of us that are more demonstrative by nature, we need some people that are analytical to help us be a little bit more focused. You see? So the reality is this. And if you're coming on, you can type in who you are and where you're from. We'd love to hear from you and know who's on the call. And if you have any comments, feel free to comment. All right. And so today we're just sharing some insights from my mentor, Dr. Miles Monroe. I'm going to share a few today. I may take this into next week because there's a lot. Another thing he says is this. He says, every human heart cries and yearns for the same thing, a chance to fulfill his or her dreams and desires. Even the poorest man has a dream. Even the poorest man has a dream. And I share this one with, in the education space, because a lot of times they see kids who come from poverty and they put them in that poverty box and think that these kids don't have a desire for anything beyond that poverty moment. I mean, that poverty situation. In my interacting with a lot of young folks, being a former child of poverty, we have dreams. They have dreams. And it's not always just sports dreams. There's some have dreams of being doctors and dreams of being lawyers. And some actually just have dreams of living a better life, living in a better situation. Okay. So I love this statement by Dr. Monroe, one of these comments that he shares and thoughts as he talks about purpose, is that every human heart cries and yearns for the same thing, a chance to fulfill his or her own dreams and desires. Even the poorest man has a dream. All right. And then this one is kind of hard. This one is being a little difficult. This is going to challenge us a little bit. But he said people generally fall into one of three groups. Check this out. One of three groups: the few who make things happen, the many who watch things happen, and the overwhelming majority who have no notion of what happens. Hey, Lily, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for sharing us where you're from. All right. Appreciate that. And so let me read that one again. People typically fall into one of three categories: a few who make things happen, a few. Talk about that in a moment. The many who watch things happen, and the overwhelming majority who have no notion of what happens. None. Interesting. All right. They either put color into their environment, or like a chameleon takes color from their environment. I don't want to be like a chameleon. I want to put color into my environment. If I have the gift to impact people's lives, I want to do that. If I have the gift to build something, I want to do that. If I have the gift to lead something, I want to do that. I want to wake up with a sense of, man, this makes sense to me. And I'm taking what I'm wired to do and doing it every single day. That's just what he's talking about, because we don't want to spend our whole lives. This is for us personally. Again, we can share this with our clients. we don't want to sit up with a view of the rear view. We want to be able to look forward and say, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to accomplish. And what you find is when people do that those are the individuals that in some cases, it doesn't have to be on a large scale. History never forgets. History doesn't forget these people because they've used their abilities to impact in such a way that society takes and pins what they talk about or what they do, and they never forget it. Okay. So don't be like that chameleon. It's nice to be able to learn and grow from people, but sometimes go out here and create something. Another thing that he says here that's powerful is the original purpose for a product determines its design, composition, capacity, and potential. Purpose may be defined as original intent or reason for creation. Think about that. All right. Think about it. The original purpose for a product determines its design. So if you were to look at us as human beings, when we were created, or we came out of our mom, or whatever you want, however you want to look at it, he believes, and I believe that there was a reason why that happened. Like we didn't just show up on the planet. There's a gift that we have that the planet is going to be blessed by. And so what he talks about here is powerful because what he's saying is that just like that product, like if you if you have a glass, you fill up with water, the purpose of that glass is for you to drink water out of it. Or if you have a vehicle, a car, the purpose of that car is for you to get in and transport you somewhere. And so what we have to look at is, what is the purpose for this person that I look at in the mirror every day? Just like my shoes have a purpose, and just like my car has a purpose, my home has a purpose, so do I. You see? And I love how he talks about this because he puts it in such practical terms, all right, such practical terms that anyone can understand it. He has a really dangerous quote that he shares, a very dangerous. And if you're coming on, please tell us who you are. Type in the chat feature who you are, where you're from. We'd love to get to know the different people that are watching what we're talking about here. All right. And again, every Monday at 10, we're going to do this for about a half hour. Okay. But he has this quote. Now, you got to be careful of this quote. And anybody has gone along with me and Rachel and Pierre, because they were actively involved, and they still will be from time to time when they can. Everybody's really busy right now. We had certain things that we talked about and we stood by. And we also, this quote that I'm about to share, you've heard this quote. Okay. So for those of you who are new, you may not have. But anyway, Dr. Monroe said this. He said, the greatest deposits on our planet are not found in the diamond mines of South Africa or the oil wells of Saudi Arabia. He said this. All right. Please put your name in there as well so we can know, because all we see is Facebook user. Thank you. He said let me start that over. The greatest deposit, all right, are not found in the diamond mines of South Africa, nor the oil wells of Saudi Arabia, oil fields of Saudi Arabia. He said this, the greatest deposits, this is hard, y'all. I hope you can roll with me on this. He said the greatest deposits on the planet are found in your local cemetery. He had me right there when he said that one, because I knew where he was going with this. He said, in there, you have books. All right. Good morning, Kayla. Good to see you there. Glad you all are on board with us. He said, in the graveyard, you got books that were never written, songs that were never sung, artwork that never made it off the canvas of the mind of the originator. In the graveyard, you have potential that remained potential. That's what I'm saying. Thank you, Shauna. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Thank y'all for joining us. Any comments, please put it in the chat feature. We try to make that chat feature really active. So you give me some thoughts as to what I'm saying. That quote right there is such a defining quote. And what he's saying in a nutshell is, I don't want to take my gifts to the grave. And you know what? When we ran our workforce program, we are WIA. I noticed that someone here said they're from Pittsburgh and EARN. We actually did programs on a regular basis for EARN over in Wilkinsburg. So I used to go to work in Wilkinsburg every month and train EARN clients on job readiness skills. I had a contract with an organization over there that was an EARN provider. So beyond doing that, we also were a contractor under WIA and had two of the most successful workforce programs in the United States. Our HYPE youth program, helping youth pursue excellence, is one of the top 5% of all youth contracted programs in the country as far as job placement job retention, soft skills development, and high school dropout prevention. All right. You see, and so you guys that are saying things to me in Facebook, please put your name in the chat because I don't know who you are. It says Facebook. All of it's saying Facebook user. So when you say good morning to me, God bless you, but I don't know who you are because I don't know your name because it's only saying Facebook user for some reason. I don't know why it's doing that in this format. So make sure if you're sharing anything, please put your name in there when you say it so we'll know who you are. But you're right. Use your gifts. Don't take them to the grave. We don't want to do that. And we want to inspire our clients to understand that. You know, I'm going to tell you something. I'm a big believer in raising the bar of potential. I don't like to lower the bar with people. Now, you need to get people to move through that. And in our hype program, and also our basic program, you see, yeah, I appreciate y'all too, but y'all ain't telling me who you are. So I appreciate you. Love you dearly. But it says Facebook user. So if you can put your name, yeah, there we go. That's what I'm looking. What's up, Leroy? Now we cooking. Oscar, now I know who y'all are. All right. Thank you for putting your name. What's up, Leroy? My man. I remember you big time. And Oscar, you know you my dude. What's going on? But when we ran our programs, we always set the bar high. Write this quote down. Nobody rises to low expectations. Nobody rises to low expectations. You know, this year has been one of the best years I've had in business in the midst of a pandemic. And the reason why, and Oscar can attest to this because he was a part of our regular meetings, I made a statement at the beginning of the pandemic that we would talk about all the time during these meetings, these Monday morning meetings. And I would say we're going to be better off after the pandemic than we were before it. Let me say this, my friends, words have power. And many people who are a part of what we're doing, you see what I'm saying? Thank you, Shauna. So good to meet you. Thank you so much. I appreciate getting it, looking forward to getting to know you through this vehicle. But all the people who participated in those weekly, we had about 150 regular, 500 when we first showed up. Every person, I've talked to a lot of people, and people are better off than they were before. Yes, thank you, Christopher. We're better off after. Our businesses are flourishing. If you're in workforce, your organizations are flourishing. Why? We encapsulated a belief by making a statement, and we ran together for 6 months until I couldn't do it anymore time-wise because it's just so busy. And I'm still busy now, me and my team. But the reality of the matter is we took words. That's all Dr. Monroe was doing here. All this is words. These are words. You see what I'm saying? You know, there's words. And you take those words and you live by them. You see what I'm saying? You live by them. And words have so much power. And so we can't afford, during this pandemic, to allow all this negativity and all the stuff that's going on in our country and all the vitriol and pessimism and all this stuff to dictate the goals and ambitions that we have for our lives. Because if we get sucked into that, what happens is all the stuff I'm talking about becomes irrelevant, you know? And so I tell people minimize how much they do some of the social media stuff on the personal side, because it's good to do it like this if I'm learning and growing. But if I'm sitting and just hearing people's pessimism, it's hard for me to grow. Let me say this to you real quick. There's a lot of opportunity right now, a lot of opportunity. And I mean it, a lot of opportunity out here for us to have impact. A lot, if you're in business, a lot of opportunity for business. My company is getting a lot of equity. We have a thing called the 3M Equity Framework. We are just getting business galore all over the country in that realm, because that's where our country is right now. There's a lot of people looking at this and they want a new way of doing it. You don't want what's happening for the last 30 years, you know, but when we were in this pandemic, I positioned that. I didn't sit back and say, oh God, what am I going to do? I said, what can I do? How can I lead? Write that down. How can you lead? You know, how can I lead? And start thinking about it, because that's all Dr. Monroe. I'm talking about my mentor, Dr. Miles Monroe. That's all Dr. Monroe, all right, and placed in all of us that followed him as far as him being a mentor. He was a mentor to a lot of people. We believe that I'm here today, you know, author of several books, writing 2 more. I believe that stuff. You know, I came from nothing as far as, you know, personally. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You're right, Sean. That's it. A lot of opportunity. I'm telling people now, if you want to be an entrepreneur, now is the time. I'm telling you right now, I'm enjoying this with you all. But then after this, I got several events I got to do. And then I'm on NARDIP, the National Association of Workforce Development Professionals. I've done 2 virtual workshops for them. So I got to go online and be in the kind of in the chat feature as people are watching. I'm gonna watch myself speak and comment in the chat feature. I mean, it's just all over right now. And some people are seeing it and doing it. And some people are watching. That's what Dr. Monroe, let me go back to one of these statements, because some of you may not have heard this. This is what he said. All right. People typically fall into one of 3 groups: the few who make things happen, the many who watch things happen, and the overwhelming majority who have no notion of what happens. I'm laughing because that's crazy when you think about it. No notion. Everything out here is dictating what goes on in here, instead of what's going on in here dictating what's going on out here. That's the world I live in. I don't let out there dictate this. I don't. That's it. There you go, Kayla. Endless opportunities. I'm not. I can't. Life is too short and too precious. You remember that quote by Dr. Miles Monroe? I said a few moments ago, the greatest gifts are found in your local cemetery. I don't want that to be my story. I don't want that to be the people I mentor story. I don't want that to be when I work with clients, their story. When I'm working with individuals and I'm coaching, their story. You see what I'm saying? There you go. The greatest gifts on the planet are found in your local cemetery. Kayla, there it is right there. You know what I mean? I said it earlier. He said in there, you have books that were never written, songs that were never sung, artwork that never made it off the canvas of the mind of the originator. In the graveyard, you have potential that remained potential. That's why I take this work seriously. Be it I'm coaching somebody, be it I'm doing training for one of your organizations with the clients. Anybody that's ever contracted me, no, I don't play, because we don't have time to play. And some people have some great talents and abilities, and we placating them instead of pushing them. I had a great conversation with one of the founders of motivational interviewing. He was in Wales, Dr. Stephen Rolnick. He's in Wales in England, and here I was on the phone for an hour and a half. And I'm gonna get him in here to our country. He's retired now, but I'm pulling him back in, because I said, you didn't do much in workforce development. We need you over here. And so I'm working on getting him to do some series of webinars with me. But we talked about it. And he said that, motivational interviewing, those of you in workforce development know what I'm talking about. He said, it's all about empowerment. It's not even about just trying to get a person just to find a job. It's people take control of their lives. That's what we did in our programs. We have kids today that are adults that they all taking care of their life. They are taking charge because what we put in them, and they'll be the first ones to tell you. You see, because we didn't lower the bar. And so what I'm trying to say is simply this, I'm tying in Dr. Monroe's statements to some of these things that I'm talking about. But the reality of the matter is that during this pandemic, this is not the time to become passive. This is the time to be assertive as far as what you're trying to accomplish. Now, we got to do it all virtual. Here I am. I haven't been on a stage since March, but I've been on probably about 500 stages virtually since that time. I mean, we doing these virtual programs nonstop, coaching, training, consulting. Myself, I have a few other folks. Yes, indeed. Shauna, reach out to me with that. I got the guy. If you're serious about that, I'm telling you, there is a guy that I'm connected with. I'm all about synergy and collaboration. So if you want to reach out to me, go to we'll put my email. I'm serious because it is such a need right now, because what people don't realize is they don't understand motivational. They don't understand motivational interviewing and motivational coaching. It's not just about finding a job. It's about empowerment. It's about empowering people to take charge of their lives. You see, and that's all what people like Dr. Monroe did for me is, when I sat under his tutelage and his, let me put this in here as well. It's my website if anybody wants to go there. When I sat up under his tutelage, it taught me the things I'm talking to you about today, because I was able to apply these things. So great leaders, I'm going to say this and get ready to wrap this up, but great leaders know how to pull things out of people. It's one thing to be able to consult a coach or case manage or whatever it may be, but there's another thing when you can see tangible evidence that a person's life was changed as a result of being in your presence. And that takes mindset stuff that we're talking about here. It takes what what we're just talking about here, as far as what Shauna was mentioning, having an understanding of processes and systems. But also, most importantly, it takes the confidence to stand up and say, when you say something, when I say something, it's going to get done. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? Seriously. And that's not that's not trying to be arrogant. It's just a reality of it. Like next year, we're doing some work and I got some goals that's crazy. I'm just being honest with y'all, crazy goals. And we're going to hit them. The reason why, I got them things written down. I got my vision board up here. I got my goals laid out. I got people in my corner, partnering and collaborating and synergizing with folks, and we pushing it out there. Why? It's not about me trying to do something that make my life is already good. I'm blessed, but I want to impact on a positive. I want to impact on a really large scale. I do. I believe that I'm gifted with an insight that can change lives. I'm not talking about just being a motivational speaker. They come a dime a dozen. Yes, there it is. It come a dime a dozen. I'm talking about people who want to be powerful influencers. Yes, yeah, that's it, Kelly. I'm talking about being a positive influence. So you got to say what you want, write it down, get it done. And that's what we're going to be doing during these weekly sessions. I've gone longer than I'm normally going to be going during this time. This is the first one in a while, so I'm kind of over my time. Words have power. Let me give you kind of a funny story. I'm going to show you how powerful words are. And that's why this year, write down what you want. See, I'm here for the clients, but I'm here for you too. I want you to be able to achieve your goals, be able to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. That's why I'm pouring into workforce development, because workforce development has been really, really good to me. But there's a guy I went to college with named Richard. And Richard, we played football. And Richard was what they call a center. And he was a really small center. He probably only weighed like 190 pounds. Most centers like 250 pounds. He little guy. But he was really good. He was aggressive. He was assertive. And so I remember the years we were in school together. Yes. Yeah. You too, Kyla. He said, listen, he said this. He said, man, one day I'm going to get married. I'm going to get me a woman. She's going to be tall, and he said, she's going to be, he just had all these words for this woman. But his goal was, he said, because we're going to have a child and he's going to be big. He's going to play football. He's going to be good. Now he would say that and we would just laugh and yeah, Richard, whatever. So after college, we graduated. I hadn't seen Richard in years. And then one day I look up and I see the name of this kid named Richard Muldrow. His name is Richard Muldrow. And he was playing for the University of Richmond. He was like 6'8", 320 pounds, a starter with pro potential. And I looked at that name and I said, I wonder if that's Richard's son. And I did the little backtracking through social media and meet online and found out it was. And I contacted Richard. And I said, man, you said in college, you going to marry a woman, you going to have this big son, and he going to play football. He used to say that all the time. You know what he said to me? Daryl, I don't even remember saying that. Boy, if that's not profound right there. He shared those words so frequently, it became a part of his mindset that he forgot that he used to share it. And all of a sudden, he manifested what he said. So my friends, Dr. Monroe, I want to talk a little bit about him. I kind of went over into other categories, but we're going to meet weekly this time on this, on this format. I'm telling you, we're not playing. We're going to go for a stretch this time because I always try to do this like around the time with COVID because so much is going on, but this may push up into March. We can do this weekly. And we're going to share some strategies to be able to help us move forward professionally and personally. A lot of times before it was professionally, some of this now is going to be personally. All right. For the careers and all that, that's it. Yeah. He spoke it into existence. He put it in the atmosphere. That's how we do it. What I'm doing today is a result of putting it out there. You know what I mean? I don't have a Harvard degree. I'm not from Yale, but I teach people from Harvard and Yale all the time. I do, because, it's just something I believe. I do have the qualifications, and all. So, but anyway, that's pretty much it. All I have for now. If you have any questions, you can leave questions in the chat feature. You can reach out and send me private messages. You can go to my website and learn more there. We are working with a lot of workforce groups throughout the country. If you're interested, if your company is doing diversity and equity and they're building something, we're doing a lot of that. We're doing a lot of client programs, a lot of youth programs. We love working in this space, and we're a very narrow sliver. We do education and workforce and some corporate. We do some corporate, but that's our big push, those two lanes. So take a look at us, reach out to us if you have any questions. I hope this information was helpful to you. We may do a part 2 of this because Dr. Monroe has so much information. I can't share it in a 30-minute presentation. But look him up yourself, Dr. Myles Monroe, Myles. He is a Christian. He was a pastor, but he's also an international leadership influencer that governments invited him to speak all over the world. Queen Elizabeth had, I think, knighted him and had him, do some powerful things in England. He was an amazing human being, but he was my mentor. And one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing today. So any questions, reach out to me. Let me say this. You're going to have to probably cut and paste it as far as my website. I'm just going to say it's CoachDSpeaks.com. All right, CoachDSpeaks.com. It's probably not a link on this. You guys have to cut and paste it and put it in. And if you just go HTTPS, you don't even need the www with mine. CoachDSpeaks.com. And also my email is CoachD@CoachDSpeaks.com. That's my email if you have any questions. Okay. So listen, look forward to next week. Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully more come on next week. My thing is I don't care if it's one person or 1,000. I'm going to keep doing it anyway, because we really want to empower people during this next wave of COVID when we're all locked up in these homes. We still want to be empowered to pursue our goals. And yeah, absolutely. Myles Monroe. That's the guy, right? And make sure you look him up and Google him. He has all kinds of speeches and presentations out there. So thank you so much. God bless you. And hope this information was helpful. And we'll see you all next Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Take care. Shauna, make sure you reach out to me. We can talk more about that certification because I think that's a great idea. Take care.